Hello, everybody. This is Arsha Yadav Kapoor. I'm a founding director of Vedanta Education Solution. This is a popular institute in Dehradun, popularly known as Vedanta IS, and have been in existence for more than 16 years now. And we have been mentoring many students to achieve their target of becoming civil servants. And in the series of mentoring all these aspirants during this period of lockdown, today we have Dr. Neerja Singh with us. She's a renowned psychologist in Dehradun, and she has worked with various organizations as a neuroscience advisor with Max and UPS and number of organizations she have worked with. So I hope today's her guidance on motivation to all of you will be helpful during this lockdown period in general for everyone and specifically for civil services aspirants as well. So over to you, Dr. Neerja Singh, and best wishes to the candidates as well. Okay.
Thank you so much, Archana. That was a very warm welcome, a very warm introduction. A little brief about myself. Yes, I am a consultant psychologist in Dehradun. I have worked with Raphael, a school for special children, way back in 2009. From there, I started off with my PhD. I completed my PhD in 2014. I worked with Max thereafter with the neuroscience department. In between 2009 to 2014, I taught at Petroleum University, where I taught the BA LLB students an integrated course of philosophy and psychology, morely about forensic psychology, criminology, and ethics in philosophy and ethics in psychology. And then on, I started my practice with City Heart Center, a very famous hospital in Dehradun. And I've been a consultant psychologist with CJM School, Dehradun. And I have also given various talks to IMA, the Indian Military Academy, to over 1,500 cadets on depression, anxiety, and lack of self-worth. Whereas Unison School, Liga School, CM, Hero Motor Corp, various other institutes. But the point over here going live is to explain my topic to you on mental health, firstly. Secondly, motivation and self-esteem. What do you and what do I understand by motivation? Motivation is not something outside of you. Motivation lies very much inside of you. There are two phases of motivation. One is the intrinsic phase. What lies within you? There's a motivation that moves you. There's a motivation that gives you a goal. It gives you achievements. It gives you success. But if motivation goes down, it gives you failure. It gives you a sense of lack of self-worth, lack of self-esteem, and lack of self-confidence. The topic here is motivation to increase self-confidence, in self-esteem, and understand your worth likewise. To understand motivation, you have to understand what you want. There are certain needs, there are certain desires, there are certain aspirations which we all want in our life. And the lockdown so beautifully has given us another chance, another motive from motivation to move ahead and achieve your goals. Yes, we have barriers. Yes, we have certain problems. We have certain issues where we cannot move so smoothly as we used to post the pre the lockdown. But never mind. Our motive is to go on. Our self-esteem is to rise. Our self-confidence is to go on to move ahead in life. I will explain to you some very, very important concepts related to motivation, very important concepts related to self-esteem, and how we merge the two and move on. Right. Coming to motivation, which I already started with, we have motivation that helps us take action, helps us achieve our goals. But beyond that, there's something we really need to achieve, is the behavior. When we get demotivated, everything around us changes. Our behavior changes. The way we look at life changes. But if everything goes good with our motivation, our behavior changes. We feel good with life. We feel everything around us is moving so smoothly. Yes, it is moving smoothly because we have worked on it, because we have attained that absolute confidence to do it. Motivation, like I said, is intrinsic in nature, and extrinsic in nature. Intrinsic is within you. So understand, you all are very familiar. Everybody listening to me today is very familiar with the word self and personality, and we boast about it. What do you know about the self? The self is the core of the human being. It's way down into a subsystem, a subconscious. We work on the self day and night. We work in our professions, like we work with our families, like we work with our relationships. We work with ourselves. The self is the core concept of you. If your self is good, if your self is high, if your self is full of worth, you have an identity. Your personal identity, your social identity majorly depends upon the way you channel yourself. If you channel yourself with a high expectation, you channel yourself well. If you channel yourself with a low expectation and feel things are not working for you channel yourself with low self-worth. Now, coming to what the motivation does to you, it makes you go. It makes you go way beyond your expectations. Understand, every time an expectation fails does not mean you stop motivating yourself. You need to go on. We have inner needs, goals, vision, and targets, and these are beautiful words to deal with. But how do I achieve it? When I, with clarity, analyze what I want, analyze what I need. Does everything I want have to be achieved? Does everything that I need is actually what I need? So we need to filter what we want. We need to filter what we need. In the lockdown phase, in the COVID phase, all aspiring students were really struggling to get through their exams. Do not lose hope. This is another way to achieve what you want to achieve. Give yourself more time. How do I know what I need to motivate myself for? How do I know? That's when we realize what we are. That's when we realize what we are from inside. So once you internally go within yourself and see what you need, you'll come out beautifully with what I really want to attain. There's a thin line, I would rather say, between what I want and what I need. Why am I repeating these words? Because these are words related to the motivational aspect of you. There are negatives to motivation, there are positives to motivation. When you motivate yourself positively, you aspire, you achieve, you fulfill your goal, you fulfill your motive. When you motivate yourself negatively, you fail, you have a downfall, you do not feel good about yourself. And I'm coming to the word mental health, I said much before I use the word motivation and self-esteem and self-confidence and all of it related to the human being. When the negative aspect of us starts entering inside of us, when we demotivate ourselves, we dissatisfy ourselves, we're not able to achieve that goal. What is the hindrance? Now it's the extrinsic motivation, the motivation coming from your environment. There are two sorts of environment, students, people listening to me. You have an internal environment and you have an external environment. The internal environment is all about you, what you want from yourself. Your external environment is your society that needs something from you. It's a fair give and take as we are born. The minute we are born, the time we enter the world and the time we realize relations, we realize there is a give and take situation over here. Fair enough, if the environment wants it from us, what does the environment want? That is another critical analysis of us. So you have to be very, I would say, simultaneous in your propositions, like what you want to give and what you want to take. So if we have negative motivation and the motivation is going against us, we are demotivated, we fail, we cannot achieve our goals, is the environment responsible? Is the environment not allowing you? No, the environment is giving you opportunities. You are not categorically seeing what you want. We blame the lockdown, we blamed COVID. No, do not blame anyone. It's not a blame game. We will keep on achieving, come what may the criteria, come what may the hardships, come what may the barriers, the downfalls. We need to continuously motivate ourselves. Yes, keeping a check on what you want, keeping a check on what you feel, the way you feel when you're motivated, the way you have your emotions in front of you when you're motivated, the way your processes go when you're motivated, largely depends on your positive motivation and your negative motivation. Coming down to self-esteem, rightly said, my motivation increases my self-esteem. I am moving from one topic called motivation to my second topic called self-esteem. Self-esteem is an integral part of your personality. Your self-esteem is an integral part of you. When I talk about self-esteem, I am not segregating, I am demarcating you and your personality. It is one individual. Your high self-esteem and your low self-esteem, like your high motivation and your low motivation, largely depend on the way you have seen yourself grow as a human being. Your self-esteem, very, very categorically speaking, starts from your childhood, starts from the way you started seeing your life as a child. So you started seeing relations in your life. You started observing people in your life. Your parental upbringing, your environmental upbringing, your family, your friends, your relations, your society, your community, all of it helps you grow in your self-esteem, helps you grow in your self-confidence, helps you grow in your self-worth. Your identity primarily comes from your upbringing. Your personal identity comes from you. There's a vast difference between your identity as a person and your identity as a social person. As a person, it's your personal identity, how you think, how you feel, how you exist in the society. You create that identity. Each one of us has an Aadhaar card in the country. That is your social identity. That is the identity for the laws and the norms of the country. But you make your norms for your personal identity. That's your value. High self-esteem has a lot of goodness in it, and low self-esteem has a lot of downfall in it. But we need to address both. Do not expect after my talk, everybody feels charged and everybody wants to achieve. Everybody wants to motivate. Everybody wants good esteem. But it is a lot of understanding where you come from and where your esteem comes from. Like I said, your self-esteem is made up of your past experiences. Hello, everyone. Your past experiences is a very important part in your life. Every experience, every event matters to you. If you filter it and those events are personally very, very painful and you've not addressed it in your today, it will pinch you. It will hurt you. Students, you may be aspiring for IAS. Students, you may be aspiring for MBBS. You may be aspiring to be good clinical psychologists, good lawyers, good doctors. But individually, what is good within you will be good outside of you. What is good within you, the way you are structured, that good will be outside of you. That will reflect on yourself. So do not just want to achieve, but achieve with your integral self being positive, good for you, good for who you are from inside. You will have a downpour. You will feel elated. You will feel demotivated. You will feel motivated. It depends upon your experiences. It's a rigorous training. It's a lifelong training to be dealing with yourself all the time in different situations. But then again, it's all about you. Coming to what is self-esteem, I'm categorically defining terms over here for you to understand, because we use these terms very obviously in our day-to-day lives, but we do not know where they come from. Your self-esteem largely speaks about the way you feel, the way you think. Now, I am moving more towards the psychological perspective of what I've been speaking about. When you start feeling and thinking negatively, then we are welcoming what we call disorders. We are welcoming what we call anxiety and depression, which are largely being really talked about, because this is the peak point where we all need to be really, really resilient from inside. So coming to your self-esteem, don't break down. Coming to your self-worth, don't feel there's nothing working with you. Coming to your self-confidence, everything is good. Show your strength. It's worth it. Yes. Your childhood shapes your esteem. I spoke about it. What is your opinion about yourself? What do you think about yourself? What do you feel about yourself? What do you feel within you? Talks largely of yourself. Your inner self is your inner esteem, is the way you feel, the way you think. I'm repeating words. The way you think, what you think, when you think. What are your thought processes? Are they relevant to the event in your life? Are they relevant to your experiences? Are they relevant to your present? So we need to filter a lot of things. We need to unlearn and learn a lot of things. Remove habits that are not needed. Remove way of thinking that is not appropriate. But how is the question? We need to do a little activity with ourselves. We need to pen down things. You're very good with writing. You're very good with making notes to this. But make a note about yourself every time you land up sleeping, getting into your bed. Make a small note about what your day went like. You divide yourself into a couple of parts: your health, your person, the situation with your family, how the day went achieving what you wanted to achieve. Remember one thing: motivation has small goals and big goals. And the way you create your goals largely depends upon the way you can handle it. We can't handle very, very big goals in our lives all the time, nor can we handle small goals. But how do you make a goal or handle a goal will come in a couple of minutes from my talk. For now, critical analysis of yourself on daily basis. We are analyzing the lockdown period. We are analyzing the nature of the virus. We are constantly analyzing. But when do you constantly analyze yourself? When you start analyzing yourself and thinking about yourself, you realize what you really want from inside. So end of the day, what do you analyze? What did you achieve? What did you want to move? What did you want to add? And for tomorrow, what's the plan? What's the strategy? What's the scheme? It's just a little reflection of how you are living your life every day. Coming to the good and the high worth and the high self-esteem. When you as a child have got a good upbringing, good schooling, good education, sorry for the interruption, good education, your high self-esteem takes place. Your high self-esteem talks about your success, your happiness, your ambitious, your confidence, and how you deal with your relations. How you feel about your relations, how you feel about yourself, how you feel about your parents, how you feel about your family, society, your country. When you have a high self-esteem, you have a rational thinking, you have a logical thinking, you have a practical thinking. Your thinking processes are great. Your thought processes are neat. They are aligned to what you want to do. Then there is an idealistic approach and a realistic approach. Let me make this very clear to you as a psychologist. Those people who have high self-esteem have a realistic approach. Because they know what they want, they will get it because they are in the right channel. Idealistic approach will follow soon once I come to low self-esteem. Right. When your identity is valued, you have high self-esteem. When you're valued, when ethics are valued, you have high self-esteem. When you have respect, you have high self-esteem. We reverse everything, we land up with low self-esteem. And the first thing we land up is with, I do not have worth. I am a failure. I cannot achieve what I want to achieve. I am good for nothing. Let me go to somebody who can help me. That somebody is not anyone. That somebody is you. You have to learn to deal with yourself. Low self-esteem comes to a lot of people. But where is it coming from? A person who had high self-esteem was coming from a source, was coming from an origin. So here with self-esteem going low, what was the source? What was the origin? Where did I go wrong? Where did I not be able to pass my IAS exam? I worked 18 hours a day. I did everything another IAS student who was aspiring did so. How did he clear it? How did I not clear it? Let me take a bottle of alcohol, let me get a few drugs, and let me commit suicide. Lowest self-esteem. Now I am moving to the negative aspects of whatever I've been speaking about. Mental health disorders start here. Your mental health does not come from your environment. It comes from your internal environment. Your mental health comes from where you have not critically analyzed yourself. You've not critically analyzed your society. So a lot of problems arise from it. And we think that the environment was responsible for my failure. My parents were responsible for my failure. I did not have enough time. I did not get enough sleep. That was you dealing with it. So here, my tips categorically will help each one of you help rise your esteem, help rise your self-confidence, rise the person who you are and what you want to achieve. Right. Coming to the weaknesses of self-esteem. You have failure, you have sadness, you have anxiety, you have palpitation, you have the inability to function, the inability to do what you always wanted to do. That is your lowest form of self-potential. When your potentials go down, your abilities go down, the capacity to do what you could be able to do goes way beyond your expectations. Now we are bending our graph more towards the unlikely part of ourselves. We didn't expect us to go in that direction, but we are. So let us go there. From there, we will rise. Right. Towards hatred, feeling of unworthiness, feeling disabled, feeling handicapped. Okay, if you're feeling that way, it's fine. You cannot always have a good and a sunny day. There comes a storm, there comes a rain, there comes thunder, and there comes calamities. We are living in the environment. The environment came much before us. So if it is coming, let it come. It's another challenge facing. If you've not cleared your IAS, if you've not cleared many examinations, you're not a failure. You're doing good because you're learning from your failures. You will rise. That's resilience. Resilience is a very important term I would really want everybody to pay attention to. Your resilience is the way you get up and you move on. Resilience has not been noticed by many students. Students, resilience is within you. It's the ultimate thing in you. Come back with a bang. Face the entire situation again. A human being has a lot of power. It has so much power that it can move anything it wants to move, provided you feel that power within you. You feel your energy. I'm going to a very big word that will really help you all get back. In the COVID time, in the lockdown time, your willpower, the power to just move on. Your will is a generator. Your will is your energy. Your will is your sun. The sun gives us light, gives us so much of resources. Your willpower gives you that source. Those who fail have the strongest willpower than those who are always successful. Because those who are successful have gone through this grill of having failures, coming to them, picking them up, and moving further. So, coming to low self-esteem. My weaknesses. That's why I said categorically write everything down on a piece of paper. Make a little note of your weakness. Make a little note of your strengths. Make a little note of you. There are a lot of workbooks and communication skills, self-help workbooks, dummies for anxiety, workbooks, cognitive behavioral therapy, dummies for anxiety, for depression, for self-esteem. A lot of workbooks, a lot of work. But has it helped you move an inch? If it hasn't, then you have not moved in the right direction. So, ma'am, if I've not moved in the right direction, then where do I move? You have north, south, east, and west. You have 4 directions. But the start point, the way you make the start, will make you give that end to it. The way you start, the attitude you start with the potential you start with the capacity you start with, there's no way, there's no stopping you. Try it. There's no stopping you. Because you have taken the initiative. You have taken the onus to start. And that's a great thing to do in this lockdown, aspiring students of Vedanta IAS Academy, and you're still struggling, your struggles will give you a lot of goodness. Keep on struggling. I too am struggling. We all are struggling. And if you don't struggle, you are not a human. You're like any other object that can be moved around. But if you struggle, you noticed. If you struggle, you have polished yourself. You've refined yourself. To an extent, everybody sees you, and that From low self-esteem, I am moving back to where I came. I do not like going negative. I want to go positive. High self-esteem. Number one, goal setting. Students, people, make your notes. Number one, the goal I want to achieve. Before I achieve the goal, let me take reflection on myself. Am I feeling happy? Am I feeling perked up? Am I feeling pumped up? Am I feeling all good? How's the Josh? It's high, sir. It's good. Keep that Josh. See the army officers. See the people on the front lines. See the warriors. I'm not talking about doctors and nurses. I'm talking about every warrior in our front line of our country. That's resilience. That's their goal. That's their achievement. They want to stand strong for the country. So we stand strong for ourselves. And if you stand strong for yourself, you're a tough nut to crack. You're the best you have. Secondly, my time management. I have 24 hours and it's just not enough for me. 24 hours? You're a human being, not a machine. Take out the 8 hours. But those 8 hours are your crucial hours of your day. They matter to you the most. That's your lifeline. So your timetable, your time management is your lifeline. The way you manage your resources in the day, you are good to go anywhere, provided you follow up with your management, you follow up with the timetable, you follow your routine. There's no one stopping you. Right attitude. If you're just making a timetable for the sake of it, sorry, it's not helping you. Make it with that attitude that I will follow it. Make it with that attitude that this is it. It's now or never. That's the attitude. Right. Realistic approach. All right. There is a very big difference between an idealistic approach and low confidence and a realistic approach and high confidence. It's called your level of aspiration. And everybody uses the word aspiration like we're using the word, it's good. Aspiring is not easy. Achieving is easy. Why? Because there's a way to aspire and there's a way to achieve. You want to have an ice cream? You aspire to have an ice cream? There's a way to go about it. You go to the shop and you pick it up. But where you are going, just to get a simple cream, the process. You went to get an ice cream and you moved back and you came back and you forgot you didn't take the money with you. That's not the process. The realistic approach to you is how you will achieve it. The idealistic approach is I will achieve everything I want to achieve, and the sky and the moon and the stars, and it's limitless. I can just get it. And you land up not moving 1 inch. That's your idealistic approach. That is what we do not want. A lot of children procrastinate. They go idle in life. They feel they'll do it. But time and tide waits for no one. This we were taught as children. It's so important to chase time. It's so important to keep with the time. It's so important to realize what your approach is. Your approach, mind you, is very important. How do you approach a friend? You give a call, you WhatsApp, you ping. The attitude with which you approach, the intention with which you approach is most important. Your intention to approach your UPSC exam. What was your intention? What was your need? I'm coming back to motivation. What was the goal? Was actually UPSC? Was that your goal? Was it something else and you bifurcated? And you landed up in the UPSC papers. And if you did, and if you really made this your goal, if your realistic approach, is it that 100% approach? Then it's 100% successful. Have clarity of what you want to be. Have clarity of what you want to do. Have clarity of how you think. Have clarity. Clarity of thought is your weapon. If you're not clear with your thought, you are an entangled ball of wool that a cat plays with. And that too gets entangled because I am not clear. Have clarity. That's the next goal setting. Have clarity for tea and coffee as well. If you want to have tea, you ask for tea, you drink your tea. Okay, but you don't want tea, you want coffee, and then you don't want coffee, you want a cold drink. Then you have not got any clarity. Then a clarity for bigger goals just doesn't come this way. You're being determined. You're having a conviction. You're having the willpower. All of it is available for you. They're all with you. They're waiting for you. They are your safeguards. But if you don't have clarity, how will you get any of it? Self-belief. If you feel, believe in yourself and you can do it, then why have we not been able to do it till date? Because our belief system is not strong. Our belief system is idealistic. But when you have a realistic approach to yourself, your belief system becomes very strong. Your belief system is not that I believe I can do it. Your belief system is that I have the right resources and I can do it. I believe that I have worked on my weaknesses. They were a hindrance in my life. Your weakness could be being lazy. If you remove this one weakness of you, that's your self-belief. So your self-belief is very important. Your self-worth and your self-belief are not in alignment. Then there's no self-esteem. What is your worth? What the word worth everybody uses. Like we use depression and anxiety. We're using these terms like they just are around us, but they have very deep meaning to themselves. Your worth largely comes from the way you see yourself in society. So if you have good belief that you will shine coming out of Vedanta IAS Academy, and they have worked so hard with you, they have grilled you, they have nurtured you, they've been your parental figures, they've been so important to you. That's your self-belief. When they can believe to go where they wanted to go for 16 years, I was given just in a brief introduction. I am proud to be live on YouTube with Vedanta IAS Academy Dehradun, and I believe that if 16 years is a struggle and successful, another 16 years, where will every UPSC student be? That's their self-belief. Today, I'm talking live after doing 6 years of rigorous counseling in Dehradun, working with different managements, institutions, organizations. If I didn't have the belief, I wouldn't have the knowledge. And knowledge is nothing without belief. And the right knowledge is everything with belief. You can be misguided, misunderstood if you don't have the right knowledge. You can be hurt. You can be looked down if you don't have the right knowledge. And knowledge does not mean a pile of books. Everybody, I can have a whole library. Oh, this is all I've achieved in life. But if I cannot correlate to my existence with my society, I can't correlate with my relations, I can't be good enough, then my knowledge is useless. What is your knowledge? What have you acquired in your past is reflecting in your today, and that will be your future. So have the right knowledge, study the right way, behave the right way, balancing your expectations. Oh Lord, everybody had expectations post this lockdown. Everybody wanted a destination wedding. Everybody wanted a destination holiday. You will still have it. You are bound to have it. Nothing is stopping us. This is just a time to tackle. This is just a time to really, really rebuild, restructure yourselves. Your expectations largely come from how you see your environment. Your expectation comes from the way another person has a BMW. That's your expectation. How do you know how he had it? How he wanted it? Was it the real need? Your expectations largely rely on your need. The Maslow's theory of need. That base need is your water, is your food, and is your existence. If you're living this well inside of you, your expectations would merely be just this much. But because we are living in a society which is technologically advanced, where there is competition cutthroat, there is a race which each one wants to come first, having the best. But realize something: yourself, your esteem, your confidence, your worth will not let you have expectations if you have not used it the right way. It's good to expect. Post my lecture, I will also have certain expectations out of what I've spoken to you all about. I will also want to be more with my society. As a mental health counselor, help anybody. Those are my expectations. Everything you expect doesn't mean material. Everything you expect means being human. Find your feet. Find yourselves in the lockdown. This is the most beautiful time for everyone to ponder over your existence. See where your expectations go from here. Healthy mind, healthy body, mindfulness. Now I'm coming to the quality life that each one of us wants. Everything that you want will come from your health. Everything that you want will come from mind. Everything that you want will come from your body. If they are in alignment, they are healthy, they are happy, they are positive, your expectations can go beyond this. If you don't have the good health, if you don't have a good mind, if you don't have good thoughts, what are you expecting? Your environment will give you whatever your expectations are, provided you have the right mindset to have that expectation and live up to it. Be morally responsible, children, preparing for IAS, administrative services for this country. Your morals play your highest role. Have that as an expectation, as a request. The only expectation is to work your country, to work the government, the ethical and the moral way. That's the highest achievement. That's the award. That's the reward. That is a Nobel Prize for anyone existing to reach that pinnacle. Have high morals, high values. Everything else will be very, very mere, very, very small, very, very insignificant if your values are very high, if your principles are very high, if your duties are fulfilled, if you're a responsible citizen. There's no way you can't achieve what you want to achieve. Be a help to your society. Be an asset. High self-esteem, high self-confidence. You're an asset. People want you. People want to know about you. People want you to be with them. A liability, people don't want you. People feel you need help. So what do you want to be for your country? Largely, totally depends upon the way all these years you've been seeing yourself as a human being. As a son, as a father, as a mother, as a student, as a scholar, as a lecturer, as a professor, X, Y, and Z. But as a citizen, how do you see yourself in your country? I'm being patriotic because this is the time for patriotism. There's a time to feel for your country. And IAS aspirants, this is the kind of lecture I would want to give anyone who's aspiring to be a good IAS officer, a good administrator, a good leader, a person who will not lead himself. You lead your country. Who will not aspire for himself, will aspire for the nation and for many other countries. Why only everything for you and your country? Motivation. Wow. I think I've given everybody that one big push. Yes, that's what you want to motivate yourselves for. Be that good human being. Be that good citizen. Have your highest ethics and highest values. And everything will fall in place for you. Thank you so much. I think I've taken a good amount of time explaining to you about motivation, the way you need to motivate, your self-esteem, the way you need to work on it, and be happy, be positive, and be good. Thank you so much. Over to you, Archana. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you, Dr. Neerja. It was a wonderful session. I'm sure about it that all the aspirants, it'll be really, really helpful for them not only for their civil services examination, but to be a good human being and to be motivated, self motivated rather, for all achievements in their life. And during this COVID period especially, that was such a wonderful session. And we'll be connected
Thank,
in series of lecture series in future also. Students, be connected to us and do subscribe our channel so that you can avail all such wonderful guidance from all the wonderful people around us. Thank you so much. Bye for now.
thank you. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye bye. Bye bye.
Bye.